Alright, here we are, Crazed Performance Repair. We're here for another little tech tips ordeal. So, I have a situation where this motor on the crate, I have to ship it out. It's something that I sold, a personal item that I sold. And I can't put it on the cherry picker. The legs are too narrow to straddle this unit at all. You know, there's no way for me to straddle it. So the only thing that I could do is either have a pallet jack, which I don't, or find another solution. Now, the nice thing about having a hoist is you can use the hoist to solve this scenario. Hoist can also be used, especially when they have a car on it, in order to apply pressure to something. You can use it as a press, literally. So these hoist arms, they obviously have a tremendous amount of stress on it because there's a car on here, but they can also lift a lot of weight. I'm going to use it to lift even more weight than what the car is, simply because it's rated for more than what this car weighs, and this engine is not going to make it exceed its weight limit, not even close. So what I have to do is strap to the deal here, and I'll go ahead and do it quick. So you see I'm a little kiddywomps, a little off-centered. I gotta adjust the strapping. Alright, as you can see, now the motor is sitting on here. I had to turn it to get the arms away from the areas that were open so that they're on the support boards. This arm's on this one here, and then the other arm's on that one, so it's giving a little twist. I'm just leaving some tension on it, and it's going to be picked up tomorrow anyway. So I'll just risk it with my hoist. Maybe I'll throw something underneath this corner for a little more support, but aside from that, now it's ready to be lifted up, put in the pickup, and then it's easy, obviously, to get it out of the pickup, and then I have to load it onto a freight truck. So I'm just going to take it off the pickup, leave it high, load it on the freight truck, and be done. It'll be pretty simple, so this will work out great. A little zip tie trick for you. If you don't want the zip tie to be sharp on the end and, you know, cutting your hands or whatever when you're reaching down and things, if you can get at it with a pliers, such as this guy here, you can grab the zip tie right here, and then twist it around to cut it off. Now when you do that, it leaves a dull end. In fact, this edge here wouldn't even be able to catch a nitrile or latex glove. The one in the back here, I can't do anything about it. I can't get at it, so I'll have to cut it with the side snips. There is also a way to cut these with the side snips in order to keep from getting cut, but you have to pull it tight against the part that you're cutting at the base. And then instead of cutting it this way, which is the traditional way, you turn it so you're cutting it across the width. And when you do so, if you can get it to do it without twisting, which is why you need to be able to pull it. Now it leaves a nice dull edge. Then before you put this thing away while it's still hot, you always want to take and throw a little either water or cleaner. I'm using a cleaner right now, and clean this off. It'll make this tip last a lot longer. That rosin or flux, depending on what you're using. Don't use flux on wires, by the way. Rosin will corrode this end over time. Now when I do this, it lowers the truck substantially. You can see I'm on a position where it's already low because of the position of the concrete, but by doing this I'm able to gain even more ground at such a high pickup. All I need to do is do engine bay work today, so this makes it a lot easier to work on the vehicle. Alright, I got another little thing to show you. It is a simple trick that a lot of people don't think about. So I got a hole saw kit here. I just grabbed this pub mix container. Really doesn't matter. It's just so I can drill a hole in it. What I want to do is I want to show you a little trick with the hole saws. Okay, we're going to make this two tips in one here. So plastics, okay? Whenever you're drilling holes in plastics, you can have a lot of difficulty with a hole saw because it will chip and break the plastic. We'll do it the normal way, drilling it, and see if it chips on this one. Okay, so that one drilled a decent hole actually. But if you ever get into a situation where it snags, like it just rips and causes a nasty mark, instead of doing that, there's a good way to go through plastic that doesn't have a risk of breaking something. What you do is you start drilling. Oops. Just any old normal way, okay? Go a little ways in, it'll get hot, but then you reverse the bit. Now, plastic, if you use it in reverse, it'll actually melt it. And instead of cutting it, you're melting it, and by doing so, you risk a lot less chance of having this thing crack or break. It does leave like a little edge on it that you will have to clean up with a knife, but at least you didn't shatter it. Plexiglass is known for where you're drilling, you snag it and it breaks a chunk off. If you put it in reverse right before you get to the end, it won't do that because it'll burn through or melt through rather than cut through. So there's that tip. Now, if for some reason or another you drilled this hole and say you had to fit something in there, it doesn't fit, it's not big enough. Shoot, I already drilled the hole, I can't center it anymore. Instead of taking your bigger one and fumbling with trying to center it, okay, I'll just do it here for you. See how it kind of moves all over? It doesn't really cut worth a crap. Instead of doing that, you take the smaller one, and usually you have enough threads that you can do this. Now this one I don't have the thread to do it, I guess. That one's a flush one, but it'll still work. So what I'll do is I put that on there, and you see it sticks beyond the thing from before, and I'll turn it on its side since it doesn't thread on. I'll put it in the hole. And now I've drilled a hole that's slightly bigger. Okay, so I can get it through, just barely. And this one, I just broke it. There, that spot won't. That must be, I made it thin from when I was doing it before, but can't go through? No problem. So you can enlarge a hole, and even if you were 2 sizes off, now you could take and thread on the one size bigger and make it even bigger. And you could step the holes. You could step saw these holes if you have all the bits to do so. A lot of times, yeah, I don't actually have the correct bit to step it up one notch. I could go 2 notches, but it's not going to be centered very well. So if you have the bit that fits really nice and tight, you can get away with just sliding a bit inside of a bit to make the hole bigger. Another little tech tip for you video, and we're going to call that a wrap for now. I have some I'll give you a teaser. My next one, I am hoping that I can involve bearing race removal. I have a very interesting trick that not very many people know of how to remove a bearing race without a press. So stay tuned, and hopefully I'll find a scenario where I can do that for you just to show you how it's done. Thanks for watching.